Hi, welcome to my jungle studio and let's answer some questions today. Oh, this one is a nice one to start with. What made you first fall in love with technology? I guess it was just a way for me to get attention from my father. I was the first child in the family, so my dad didn't really know how to, interact with a young girl. So I quickly figured out that if I always ask him what he's doing or if he can explain something to me or something like that, I always wanted to know more. I always wanted to know everything. I was the child that asks why 600,000 times a day. So he was willing to explain things to me and show things to me, how they work and so on and so forth. So he was the one that introduced me to technology. He was a photographer at the time. He was probably one of the first photographers in Slovenia even working with digital photography. He always had Mac computers, like the newest Macs that there were out there. And fun fact, I learned how to operate a computer via a Mac. And I can vividly remember that he told me that whatever pops up, whatever window pops up, because I didn't know how to read English back then, whatever window pops up, I should just press cancel. So yeah, it was my dad that introduced me to the world of technology and made me really become interested in it and everything surrounding it. Podcasts. Do you have any experience how to start? Microphones, editing, software, etc. Actually, that's one that kind of scares me a little bit. I am very bad with sound, as you can probably hear right now. This room is super echoey. I'm trying my best to make it less echoey. But sound is a little bit more of a complicated thing because you have your visual people and you have the people that learn through sound, and then you have the different types of personalities of how people perceive the world around them, and I am a very visual person, which means I don't hear sound that well. For me to work on sound, even just hearing the subtle differences is quite hard. So, no, I have no idea how to start a podcast. I would say go with the microphone that everybody uses, that blue icy thingy, Find a room that is not echoey and just make sure your content is the one that is the absolute best. Because like with all types of content, people will forgive you a little bit of lack of quality if your content is incredible. For editing software, I don't know, I would do that in Premiere and then just export the audio. I work with what I know, and when it comes to sound, the only thing I do know how to do in Adobe Audition is the preset filters, the noise removal, the clicker removal and things like that. So not really the right person to ask about that, sorry. Why are you using Android? Why not iOS? This has been probably covered in about 3 or 4 videos so far, but I love the customizability of Android. I am the type of person that if I don't like something, I would like to tweak it to my own desires, and iOS doesn't let me do that in a million different scenarios, not just one. So I just prefer the flexibility that Android gives me. What did you always want to be when you grew up? Fun story. When I was super little, I wanted to be a hairdresser because braiding hair and creating hairstyles was the most fun thing for me to do. Then I got over that, and then I wanted to be a veterinarian, because I love animals. Where's my animal now? And then that didn't turn out too well because I am really squeamish when it comes to blood, open wounds, things like that. I mean, I can look at my own wounds, but if there's a video of an operation somewhere, I'm like, no way, I just can't deal with that, I'm sorry. Then my idea was that I wanted to be a film director, and I stuck with that idea for quite a long time, and I was taking classes and courses. That was around my high school years and so on. But then I figured out that being a film director, that's that's not creative enough for me, you know? Like, I need the hands-on, the creating with my own hands approach to work. And then I kind of shifted and I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do in life, and I signed up for my faculty, and then I studied social informatics, which quite frankly prepared me for this job of a YouTuber really well. And now I'm also a little bit in like shifting my career into another ways, but more on that some other time. Are you interested in space? We just got a picture of black holes, so that's pretty exciting. I mean, for me, the space is another concept that is so hard to grasp that I was always fascinated by it. And I was always asking my dad, like, how are stars created, and how is sun shining, and how is this and how is that? And remember when Pluto was still a planet? Yeah, those were the years where I grew up. So yeah, space is fascinating for me, but much too complex for me to fully wrap my head around it. Do you see a reality where iPads will be able to one day fully replace our PC laptops? I think that day has already come for a specific segment of consumers. For example, for young kids, when I was younger, we would play games on a computer. Now you can just give an iPad to your 4-year-old and that's it. You have literally moved one person's needs, and that is entertainment, to an iPad. So I think that people that mainly use computers for entertainment purposes and web browsing purposes, or reading, for example, an iPad would be, or like a tablet of any kind, would be a much better fit for them. Also, with older people, we shouldn't forget that there's like a giant amount of older people, our parents, our grandparents, that are being introduced to new technology. And in many cases, for them, it's much easier to use their finger to navigate around the landscape of internet than it is to use a mouse. I think that day is already here when iPads are slowly replacing PCs for certain specific tasks. But I don't think they will ever completely replace them. Favorite place to photograph in Slovenia? I want to plan my next trip. That's a very geographical question. I think that like the whole Slovenia is super incredibly nice, and then it depends, do you like photographing, do you like taking photographs of architecture, then you have more of Ljubljana. If you like taking photos of nature, then you have pretty much the rest of Slovenia. Everywhere you look, it's incredibly beautiful. You have the Alps, you have Bled, you have Bohinj. If you ask me, Bohinj is the hidden gem. Forget about Bled, forget about the cute church in the middle of the island. We've seen it a million times. Just take another 20 minutes to half an hour drive into the Triglav National Park and you will find Bohinj, which is incredibly beautiful and a great place to hide from the summer heat. Okay, that was it for this time's Q&A. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments down below. I will make sure I answer them in the next Q&A. And don't forget, if you're not getting my videos in your subscription box and you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification bell, because even with that clicked, maybe you're not gonna get all of the notifications, because you know, YouTube, who knows how these things work. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye!